On today's show, October sales aren't as bad as being reported. Ford expands its partnership with BlackBerry to include autonomous technology. And GM's Maven service is teaming up with Uber. All that and more coming right up on Autoline Daily. This is Autoline Daily, the show for all you enthusiasts of the automotive industry. Automakers revealed U.S. sales numbers from October yesterday, and while most are reporting sales were down, the market isn't quite as bad as it looks. Automakers sold 1.36 million vehicles last month, and while that volume is down about 6% compared to a year ago, Wards reports the daily selling rate is actually up 1.5%. That's because there were 2 fewer selling days this October compared to last year. So if we had those extra days, sales would actually be up this month. The SAAR also remained strong in October at 17.9 million units. Taking a look at the full-line manufacturers, GM had a strong month, with its sales up 6% on a daily selling rate basis. Toyota sales fell about 2%. Ford sales were down 5%, although we should note this is just an estimate because the company delayed its sales numbers after a fire broke out at its headquarters earlier in the week. Ford will reveal the official numbers later this week. FCA's sales dropped 3%, while Honda and Nissan both posted gains in October. While the overall sales numbers aren't as bad as being reported, year-to-date sales are down slightly, so it seems unlikely automakers will top last year's sales record. Ford already uses BlackBerry's operating system to power its Sync 3 infotainment system, but the automaker is expanding its partnership with the mobile phone maker. The two will work on developing technology for autonomous cars. BlackBerry is known for having some of the most secure phones on the market, and Ford is looking to leverage that knowledge to develop an intelligent and highly secure system for future vehicles. This is especially important as fears of hacking continue to rise. Ford also has ambitious goals of an autonomous ride-sharing fleet by 2021 and a fully autonomous car for sale by 2025. And this partnership will help it realize those dreams. Still to come, Latin America lags way behind other regions when it comes to car safety.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by Lear, a global leader in automotive seating and electrical systems.
There's a lot of focus on vehicle safety in the US, Europe, and Japan. But in other areas of the world, safety isn't as big of a priority. However, that is starting to change. Earlier this year, GM announced that by 2019, it will equip all of its vehicles globally with airbags and 3-point safety belts after the Chevy Sail earned a 0-star rating from the Latin New Car Assessment Program, or NCAP. That's the self-appointed organization that handles crash tests for Latin America and the Caribbean. And Nissan just announced it will end production of the Mexican-made Tsuru, which is just an old generation Sentra that we got in the US way back in 1992. It made the announcement after the car earned a 0-star rating in Latin NCAP tests. But it's not just Nissan. The industry as a whole is lagging behind in Latin America. A new study from the Global NCAP and the Inter-American Development Bank found that with better safety regulations, that up to 40,000 lives could be saved in the region by 2030. The agency recommends countries should at a minimum adopt UN regulations for safety belts and occupant protection in frontal, side, and lateral collisions. In addition to the lives saved, the report says 400,000 serious injuries could be avoided and up to $153 billion in societal costs saved. You know, we get to test out a lot of new vehicles here at Autoline. So if you want to see our opinions of the wheels we get behind, head on over to the Seat Time section of our website at autoline.tv to read all of our reviews. Hey, coming up next, Volvo reveals a more upscale version of the S90 sedan.
For the people at Dow, racing is a sport and a science. We enjoy one and learn from the other. But like most competitive people, we like winning at both. This is the human element at work. Dow.
Seems like every day another automaker is expanding into mobility services. And now GM is the latest. But this is just the latest in a series of moves from the company that it's made throughout the year. Back in January, it invested $500 million in Lyft, and soon after that, it launched its own car-sharing service called Maven. And now GM is teaming up with Lyft's main rival, Uber. The partnership will allow Uber drivers to lease vehicles from GM's Maven service by the week with no mileage limits. Drivers can lease the vehicles for $180 a week, plus taxes and fees. But insurance coverage is also included. The companies will test out the new service in a 90-day pilot program in San Francisco. Well, there's a major shakeup going on in Volvo's production strategy. The automaker is ramping up capacity in China and will be developed as a global manufacturing and export hub. The new S90 sedan will be moved from Europe to China, while the current and future S60 will continue on in its plant in Chengdu, and the smaller 40 Series and Geely's new Lincoln Company branded cars will be built at a new plant that's currently under construction in the country. But Volvo is not giving up on other markets. Its plant in Gothenburg, Sweden will continue to make some of the vehicles built on its SPA modular architecture, like the XC90, while in the future its plant in Belgium will only make vehicles on its CMA modular architecture, which underpins the 40 and 60 series vehicles. Volvo is also building a new plant in South Carolina that will make SPA vehicles for the US and export. One of the new vehicles that will be built in China is the just announced top-of-the-line S90 Excellence. It's a specially upgraded luxury model that will make its debut at the Guangzhou Motor Show and be exported globally. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and please join us again here tomorrow.